living in Thailand, I sort of was introduced to batik. So I was living in Phuket and I was having to play with this wax stuff that I hadn't played with before, and then I thought, well, as a printmaker, how could I make this something that I could work with my own practice? So I came up with the wax collograph, which is a fantastic thing in a cooler climate, not so easy when the wax is really, really soft in 40-degree heat in Thailand. So initially I started off using the wax and then shellacking it so it stayed a bit firmer, and that was great, it worked, but I don't have to do that in New Zealand, although it does aesthetically look so much nicer on the collograph to have it shellacked. If I do, this one here is shellacked, so it's a little bit sexier than, say, that one, okay? Not much in it, but that one's not. I can then work over the top in that in oil pastel and things like that and making its own artwork. So these have a second life once you've finished working with them. Okay, so I just use cardboard, good old school card, and because it's accessible and it's not expensive. And I have brought back with me batik wax, which is a mixture of paraffin and beeswax. I think you could probably even use crayons and candles and things like that. You don't have to use the batik wax. I haven't tried it, so it would be up to you to experiment with those. But some are sort of more fragile and may crack, so it would just be a case of playing and experimenting to see what you can use. These melters, this is specifically for wax. So I use a traditional canting, which is one of these things. This is what they do the batik with. In Indonesia, I think they call them jantings. So they fill up with the wax in here, but you do need to leave it in the wax so it heats it up, and the metal, that is, it heats the metal up and it keeps the wax fluid for quite a long time. I use a toothbrush. Yeah, this makes some of the coolest marks. The streaky bit's just in here, and you can sort of see it on this one here. I've left the ink on it. That's literally the brush strokes, okay? So you can get some beautiful wavy motion just from the brush. And these circles and little dots are the canting. The way that they move. You've got to coat them fully with the wax to start with so that no ink sits on the paper or the cardboard. I'm just going to make a whole bunch of different textures, and literally I'm just going to smash this in various places. I also drizzle, so I'll get a certain amount on my brush and I will just kind of flop it around. Now the canting, I usually have my trusty piece of paper to go underneath because it does dribble, and you don't want it to dribble where you don't want it to go. And I just kind of like doing little tiny dots. Sometimes less is more with the wax. I don't like to fill the whole thing with lots of stuff because it can get too busy. I like to have my paper wet. I don't know if you necessarily have to, but it kind of picks up the ink a lot better than if it's dry. I mix my colours, and there's a reason for that, because when I spray them with water and let that sit, the colours beautifully separate. I'll just do a bit there, and I'll mix my colours up. So I like to blend my colours a little bit together. I'm going to do a straight print and then a ghost print today, just so you can sort of see how you can make the most of just your ink. But you can see the marks on there with the wax. Now I just get my thumbnail or my fingernail. I don't have very good nails, so I don't really care. You could probably use something a little more tool-like, but I just take the excess of because you'll get furry bits around the outside, so I just scrape those away. Right, let's print. Hopefully these have separated enough. So I'll just, lay these on the press. Line this all up. It will change, and you'll see that when I roll it the second time for the ghost print. I release the press a little bit. I don't like to squish it too much, so I'll just ease it off. Just dry this off so it doesn't stick. Test our pressure with our least favourite one. Okay. You can actually just hand mush it or use a brayer if you want to. You don't have to have a press for the wax collagraph. It just sometimes might move. Sometimes the wax attaches itself to the back. Oh, okay, that was too thick. There we go. So that's that one. So that is the toothbrush, the drizzle, and the dots.